Yeah, I've already shut my computers down. They said it might. I shut my computers down. I'm just using battery on my laptop now.
Well, my lights went out. I was like, oh, that's weird. But my lights are weird because the lights they've been flickering.
And I noticed that in here. So I'd suggest you turn your computer off.
Are we the early birds?
I think we are. Yep.
I'm habitually late to everything. I mean, early to everything.
Well, my thing is I try to be, but Lord, I got to put reminders in my computer and my phone and all that so that I can make sure I get there on time.
So, I have this naturally built-in phobia about being late for everything. So that makes me like literally like 10 to 15 minutes early.
Same here. And then my alarm goes off at about 20 till. I'm like, uh-oh, I set my alarm for a reason. That means there's somewhere I'm supposed to be soon. What is it? And I check my calendar. I'm like, oh yeah, it is. Welcome, Gloria.
Hey, Gloria.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
So I'm here
doing good. How about you?
I'm here in Charlotte. I've lost power 3 times in the last 15 minutes. So
wow,
you kind of see out the window. They said we got winds up to 50 miles an hour, and you kind of see through the window all the trees in my yard. Yeah, I may lose power again.
Yeah, they closed the schools. I thought that was crazy.
You're here in Charlotte too, aren't you, Scott?
Yeah.
I thought you were. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over near Matthews.
Oh, you are? So we're real close then.
Yeah, I live across the street from the old Siskiyou Y.
From the old what?
I think it's called the Brace Family Y now.
Oh. I live right across Albemarle. I live on the north side of Albemarle. On the south side is Mint Hill. So, yeah, we're pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you losing power over there?
We haven't lost power yet, but most of our lines over here are buried.
Yeah, we've lost it like 3 times already in like the last 30 minutes. That's why I'm on my laptop instead of my desktop. So hopefully if I lose it, I guess I'll lose internet. So I will lose you, but well, we'll just see.
Where are you at, Gloria?
I'm in Winston.
You're in Winston?
Yeah, I'm in Winston.
So it's heading your way. The storm's going your direction.
Well, so far so good. They have closed school here today too.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That's a weird thing, closed because of winds.
I know. I don't remember ever seeing that before.
Well, I did have to run to Home Depot about an hour ago, and I was like, yeah, it is pretty windy out there. So, but I just weird closing schools.
Yeah. I'm just excited to be here today because I am always forgetting when we're going to have the meeting, where it's going to be at, and I never can find it.
I know. So that's why I said, click on here. Where's that? Look at my calendar. Oh yeah, click here. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I got company in here today. There's my dogs.
Oh.
They're watching everything. It's like, what are you doing over there? There you are.
Hello, friends. How are y'all doing?
Hey
Morning,
there.
Mark.
So, wonderful time of year. Was just on the phone with my accountant doing tax stuff. What a great time. So,
Woo-woo.
yep. How are y'all doing? How's everybody today?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here. I made it for a change.
Well, I am glad you're here. I had planned on today, talking a little bit more Realtor Up. Man, the bad news continues for the Realtor Association, don't they? Y'all seen the update with that came out yesterday? So
The new president.
The other president had to quit because of blackmail that was coming out against her. So, yeah. So I know Scott said he's thinking of totally leaving the Realtor Association altogether, and realtors can't get a break here lately with any good news. Did y'all see all that? You might want to keep up with it.
I did.
Yeah. There was an announcement that came out last night. Somebody reached out to her and said they had a bunch of damaging information on her, and if she didn't compromise her position, they would release it. So she just up and quit. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, pay attention. It's kind of hard. I think we lost your feed there, Scott. So Gloria, we're going to start with you. I kind of like to go around here, what's going on with everybody, and what's going on with you?
Okay, my main issue, well, one of my issues is I have issues in trying to keep up with stuff. You know, like this feed, for instance, where can I keep it? Where can I bookmark it? Where can I find it again?
Okay.
That's one of my main issue. By the grace of God, I've been playing with this all week long, and I was able to find you again. So here I am.
So tell me about your calendar. How do you use your calendar? Because if it's not in my calendar, it don't exist.
Well, it's in my calendar that I have a meeting today.
Okay.
And then I'm going like, okay, so where do I find that? You know, what site am I looking at? You know,
what kind of calendar do you use? Do you use a Google Calendar?
Good question. I don't know. Let me see. I'm sorry. It's I'm looking at it now, and what does it say? How do I tell what it is? It says, I don't know, it's Google Calendar or what, but it's I do have one on my phone that I'm using.
Gotcha. So here's mine, and this is how I keep track of everything. So Google Calendar is really, really good.
Oh, that's Google.
This is Google. So
I have one of those too. I've got two calendars.
So that's part of your problem right there. You need to decide which one you want to use and use it, because you're probably splitting stuff. And so now you're like, okay, where am I supposed to go? Let's check calendar 1. Then you're like, oh, let's check calendar 2. Well, there you go. So I think what you need to do is you need to decide on one of them. Now, I'm a huge fan of Google. So this is how mine's set up. So I've got my monthly member call with y'all. And inside that, when I click on it, right there is the link. Takes you directly to this room. And then anything else you need to know, you can put it in here. So if you have everything set up right in your calendar, all you have to do, look at your calendar, click here, and then click this link, and you're directly in our room.
Is that link automatic, or I have to put it in there?
It depends on if you're on the – if I sent it out the first time, you probably would just copy and paste it. And so anywhere – and, I mean, I can add you to these invites if we need to.
I appreciate it.
We have a meeting on Zoom, and typically what I would do, go to add location, and then you can just put your link in here that you need to go to.
Okay.
And then that way, let me turn that off. I know this is still going to ring. That way, when you jump on your calendar, it's automatically going to take you where you need to go.
Okay.
Okay. And so Yeah, I live and die by my Google Calendar. So some other tips I'll tell you. There's a video I made a couple years back on our YouTube channel. Check that out, how to put your Google Calendar on steroids. And so, like, for example, my wife's calendar is the blue one here. So I can glance at this, and she schedules all of our family stuff. And because we've linked them together, my calendar, Marcia's calendar, you can see it right there. All of the blue events you see are family stuff on her calendar. So now when I go in to schedule something, I can say, nope, my daughter has horse riding lessons. I can't do anything at this time, even though I don't even have to put up with it. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the key is on a lot of these things is like all of my meetings, like right there's the link for my board of directors meeting I'm having tonight. We have an attorney's meeting because I got a homeowner that keeps letting their dog poop all over my neighborhood. So we're going to fine them. Right there's the link. So like I said, live and die out of my Google Calendar. And the cool thing, if you get used to this and you use it a lot, like the search feature in your Google Calendar is so good. I could go up here right now and let's say, for example, my HOA, Salisbury Square, right there. I can hit enter and check this out. Here's all of my coming up meetings for the rest of the year. Okay. So what I would recommend, just so to make sure you make it in here every time, go ahead and book the meeting for today. And then when you're setting it up, put the link in, which is the link that you're here now. And you're going to go to more options. So check this out. And this way you won't have to do it again. This repeats on the second Tuesday of every month. Click that and it'll automatically put it on the second Tuesday of every month in the future.
Okay.
And you'll have the link and you'll be ready to go.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not helpful? But
yes.
Here's your homework assignment. Next 30 days, laser focus, one calendar.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do it. Now, it's fine having different ones added. I've got all kinds of calendars in here, but this is my go-to. And it's on my phone. I can quickly add an appointment. I can do all of that.
Okay.
Anything else? And we'll go around. Like I said, I go around and try to help people. And then I've got this completely wide open for y'all. So if y'all have any questions, comments on anything, we're going to talk about that. I thought last time went really well, but I went a little too long on the planning your goals and everything. So I was going to leave more time for y'all today. So Lakeisha, see, you're here. Welcome. How's everything going with you?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. So
everything is good.
Good. Awesome.
I won't complain.
Any questions, comments, anything that I could help you with?
Well, since you asked.
That's why I asked. Crack me up.
I just had a call yesterday from I actually sold her niece's land. And so she has some land. So I was trying to do some research on that. And the deed said, I think I just found the other deed where the sister deeded the portion of the land because it was her and her brother, but her brother is deceased. And so the deed says where the wife has deeded the land to the sister.
Okay.
Any other problems should I be looking at?
No, I think you're doing your due diligence. I mean, you're doing your research on that. And you can only do so much. I mean, you're not an attorney and you're not doing a title search either on that. So just follow the deed patterns. And have you got it listed yet?
No.
Okay.
She just called yesterday. I sold her, I think she said her niece land and during the summer last year. And so I got a referral. Yay.
There you go.
So yeah. And then I actually got a referral off of that same lot. And this person has 3 lots. So I actually have to go meet with them on Friday. So
good job. Now, when you say referral, let's talk about that a little bit. Is it a referral from somebody you know? Is it a referral from, when you say referral, how'd you get it?
So the one that called yesterday, she knows her, the one that I sold the land for. That's her I don't know if it's niece or aunt, but they have some kind of relationship. And she said, call Keisha because she helped me with mine.
Good.
And so, but the one that I got a meeting with on Friday, I have no idea who this person is, but I'm hoping I can get the number when I meet them on Friday. But she said she was trying to sell the land herself, but the person told her something about the where it was situated, it wouldn't work for him. But he said, call this agent because she's in that area and she does plot lines and all that on her picture. So you may get more money if you go that
Smart.
route.
Good. So I would tell you, be thinking, if you don't do this already, referral, just a system or a process to make sure you reach out to whoever referred a handwritten note. It's weird because the real estate rules, we can't give anything of value to somebody for that because you can't give anything to value to somebody that's not licensed. But, you know, a handwritten note, a phone call, tell them thank you. Because if you do that enough, I mean, I'm to the point with my business now, I do very little advertising. Most of my stuff just comes from past clients and referrals. And that's a good spot to be in because then you're not totally advertising nonstop and spending very expensive stuff on that. So be thinking about that. What's some things you can add that person, that referral into your database, send them birthday cards. Because if they're already telling people about you, that's who you need to stay in touch with because they'll send you more business. It's like having a free salesperson on your team that's sending you business.
Yes.
And if you look at it that way, cultivate that.
I'm glad you said that because I've been saying, you know, I was reading, I think it's 7 Levels of Communication.
Great book.
Great book. And they were talking about notes. And I was like, well, I don't know what to say.
So I actually have tags that I use. I found them when I was cleaning up my office the other day for my database. And so a person like that, and one idea that I've heard that I've always kind of done before is think about your VIPs, your very important people. Those are people that refer you business. So if you have a database or a spreadsheet or anything, tag that person as a VIP. And guess what? They're going to get birthday cards. They're going to get a Christmas card. If you grow and say you do a summer get together of clients, that's your VIPs you're going to invite to your cookout and stuff like that. Okay. Because if they're already sending you business, that's somebody you want to stay in touch with. Now, I can promise you, if you've done this long enough, there's people that will not go on that list. They're the ones you couldn't wait to close to send them on their way, right? So
absolutely.
VIPs are people referring you business or people you like to work with because that's the type of people you want to attract. Does that make sense?
I'm doing it right now.
Awesome. Good. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, we're going to have plenty of time to talk today. So Susie, are you there? Susie's shy today. She got her camera and everything off.
Hi. I actually have COVID, so I'm trying to hide.
There's so many people I've talked to that's has COVID now. So I hope you get to feeling better. Anything I can help you with today?
Accounting is my biggest. I hate it, and it's so very important because I have trust accounts, and I'm still very, very small, but I need to get on top of it, and I've got everything together. I mean, is there a resource I would love to just be able to sit down with somebody.
Yep. And this is a prime example why I go through and ask y'all questions. Because Susie, when you said that, I saw Mike giving thumbs up in the corner. So a lot of y'all have the same question. And it's so funny. I just got off the phone with one of my accountants and we're going through all of this ourselves. So what is what software are you using? Because you're doing property management, obviously, right?
Yeah. So I've been trying to do everything through my CRM or Door Loop. It reminds me of Appfolio in the way in a lot of the features, but it's less expensive.
Okay. Doorloop.com. Let me look at something. Doorloop.com.
It does sync with QuickBooks, so I'm wanting to get that going.
Gotcha. Okay, and you just want to feel comfortable with what you're doing. So I will tell you, when I started out, I got up to about 30 properties where I was doing it all myself. I think it's important for you to really learn how it works and how your software works and everything. But you should have an accountant that now I have learned a lot of accountants don't understand real estate accounting, triple tie outs and all of that. It's a little bit different. And Pam can add into this too. Pam, do you still balance your own books or do you use somebody? Yeah, I don't know how you do it with all of that. I'll show y'all because we're all family and I share with y'all anyway. So right now, the way I do it is I now use a service called OJO Bookkeeping, OJO Bookkeeping. They tie directly into Appfolio. And y'all, this was a game changer for me. So basically, they're on as kind of an accountant in my software company, in my software. And it's to the point now, I've got 18 trust accounts that we have to balance. And so what I do at the end of every month, I send them my bank statements. And we do it through Slack, online communication. And this is my shared drive. So when I send them the bank statements, and then it comes back. And so these are my months every month. So December's not done yet. I just sent them the bank statements. But just so you can see, here are my reconciliation reports for all of my trust accounts. All right. The bookkeeper does this. This costs me anywhere to where we're at now. I got 9 communities we're managing under HOAs, but I was up to 450 rental properties. This is costing me anywhere $200 to $300 a month to have a peace of mind to know it's being reconciled on the back end. So if I go to like Westminster, so here's my reports that I get back from them, and statements and everything, triple tie out, any issues that come up here, and then the reconciliation report. This is one thing you definitely need to know when you're doing property management, is how to run your reconciliation report and make sure it's in balance and everything. So your software should be allowed to do this. This is through Appfolio, and then there's the bank statements. There's the copies of the checks that the commission requires, and then there's my general ledger. So this report's 48 pages long for just that one trust account. Okay, so hopefully you'll get to the point. I've used OJ with Rent Manager. They were, hopefully you say good. So they were fantastic. Good, that's Pam. Another option is, I've heard good things about, is APM. All right. So right now, if you're small starting out, do you have an accountant, Susie, that's helping you with your accounts?
No, I don't.
Okay. You need to find a good accountant. You need a CPA to at least do your tax returns and everything, and tell them that you're doing bookkeeping and that you have trust accounts. So the way that I have it set up, do you use QuickBooks?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so you probably want to get something. I started out when I first started using something very basic called Quicken, but that's more for like personal finance and all. I would probably recommend going ahead and doing QuickBooks and get you the very basic QuickBooks Online account. And you should have your operating account in there, and you'll have your trust accounts in there, your security deposit escrow, and then your, what I call my rent escrow account. Keep in mind, they need to be named rent escrow or a trust or escrow in both the names per the commission. Okay.
Yeah.
So, good. Perfect. So put those in Appfolio. All right. QuickBooks to start with, and look at your software that you're using for property management. I'm almost positive they're going to offer a reconciliation triple tie out method for you to balance your books. But I would go ahead. It's going to be hard to get in touch with an accountant right now because all of them are busy with taxes. But who are you going to have to do your taxes for last year?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, we got to get you moving. Have you sent out your 1099s? Do you have to send out any 1099s?
I will, yeah. I have one homeowner that I will.
Okay. Does your software do that?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So, let me know if you want to set up a time. We can do a screen share or something. I can't do too long with you because I'm not an accountant or something, but I've done it a lot. If you want to, we can kind of set up a time and you can kind of show me your stuff, and I'll try to help you if I can. I wish somebody would have helped me when I started. So let me know if you want to set something up.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, Mark, if I could interject for just a second.
Please do, y'all.
When I had a property management company, there was a lady who was out of Raleigh, and she used to be an auditor for the real estate commission, and she was a CPA. And I don't know if she's still in business. This has been, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago. But she was great, easy to work with. She would do like audits for you to make sure that you're doing things right, she's doing things right, and make sure your trust accounts are all real estate commission compliant. She wasn't cheap, but the peace of mind it brought me and my business partner, I mean, you know, it was worth every penny.
Yeah. I don't know if that's Pam Vesper, because I don't think Pam's an accountant, was she? I know she was an attorney.
No, but she did audit books.
That's it. You're right. She was an attorney.
Okay, that's probably Pam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pam Vesper, I've got her number. You could reach out to her. Her old partner, Adam Stallings, is actually working for the legal hotline now. So he's working for Will Martin and everything. And I've never had them. Adam, he might be a good contact for you, Susie. So Adam, when I first started, he helped train me on that folio and how to do all this stuff and how to put stuff in the right spots and be sure it's super clean and nice. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago and asked him about coming in and checking my stuff. So yeah, it was either Pam Vesper and Adam Stallings could help you with that. So we can connect you with that as well. So cool. Good. Thanks for mentioning that, Scott. See, that's a pretty good value right there to be able to get your trust accounts done. Mike, you were giving thumbs up talking about that. So what's your take? Did I answer your question, or you have any more?
I got a whole.
What you got? What you got?
So I apologize. Y'all say, hey, okay, you spoke enough and stop now, because I don't want to hog it all up. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning. So on your VIP first, and I apologize to jump around, but so I do a top 25 and top 100. Does that sound good to you? And then my top 25 are my ones that I count on for referrals and stuff like that. That's the one who I send like pumpkins at Halloween, pies at Thanksgiving, Christmas gifts, anniversary cards, birthday cards, all that.
Great.
And then the 100 is where I do like past clients that I don't know if I'm gonna get business, but keep in touch because they buy again, stuff like that. In a nutshell, does that sound, am I missing anything, or does that sound like a good follow-up program for you? And I use Follow Up Boss to do all that in. Does that?
I think it sounds perfect. You're ahead of probably 95% of real estate agents out there. So that is perfect.
Okay. And I'll drop that.
Your top 25 sounds like a VIP program to me. So is that
yes.
Perfect. I like
okay. Okay, good. That's what I was thinking. Okay. And then so my biggest challenge again, I think, is bookkeeping. I break out in hives when I have to do it. And so I'm in my 1099s and I realize I have 2 owners that I'm missing some information. I sent it out. I should be getting it today, get the 1099s done. So, but again, as I go through now, it's like a pain point for me. So going through and doing this, and you talked to me about Ojo, I just don't know if the pain is enough for $200 to $300 a month. I guess that's what I'm saying. So that's a question I have to answer myself. But my biggest thing is my biggest fear, what keeps me awake at night, is the commission and something coming in, because like, I think I told you, my daughter does this with me. She won't even read the bulletin because it's like, it's in fear of it. So when I read the bulletin and I'm like, are you seriously that you're going to do that to that person for that thing? And I'll just be honest. I just feel like if they want to come in and get me, they're going to find something. Like, for instance, I use Fifth Third. Fifth Third does not give you copies of the checks. Now, if I need a copy of a check, I can call them. They will give me that copy, but they don't send like what you just showed. And I know that's something I'm supposed to have, but they don't offer it. So do I have to change all my accounts?
You can get it
from Fifth Third.
If as long as you can get it and provide it, you're going to be fine. So I'll tell you kind of my thoughts on this. So I did think for the longest time, the commission is like this big boogeyman in the closet that's waiting to jump out and hit you with the club, right? The more I've gotten to know them, the more classes that I've worked with, I will tell you the stuff that you see in the bulletin is just the worst case scenarios normally. If they come in and money can't be accounted for, and there's the thought of theft, they're going to come after you with a club and everything, which they should. If they come in and it's minor stuff, you're doing everything you can. They know we're not absolutely perfect. They might give you a warning level, especially if it's your first time. Now, if they've come in and there's been multiple complaints and they've come after you 5 times for the same thing, they're going to come at you with the club at that point, right? So I think we just, and I mean, as a educator, people know me across the state. Imagine if my name showed up in the bulletin. It would be horrible. And that's like my biggest fear across the board. But I have done property management enough to where I've seen a lot of companies managing a lot of properties and they haven't reconciled their accounts in like 6 months. That's a problem. Okay. Those are the types of things you can look at. My accounts normally are reconciled within 2 to 3 weeks of giving my statements and everything over. So I think the key is documenting your stuff, doing the best you can. They're looking for theft and people stealing money and money's disappearing and everything. Okay. And if you need to, people forget about this. You can go back and take the trust reconciliation class again. You'll get a 4-hour CE credit for it. That's always a good idea. Susie, if you haven't taken that, you should, because now you got a trust account. But you can always go back and retake that as a refresher on it and ways you can do that and everything. So the accounting is what kind of software do you use, Mike? A lot of it comes down to your software. What kind of software do you use?
My property management is Buildium, and then I use QuickBooks, like you said, the standard online version, and that's how I communicate to my accountant back and forth. But I think I need a bookkeeper because that I don't like keeping books, and I think that's my. So again, it's like looking at $200 to $300 a month, and like in my, how bad do I want that? That's
how are you there? And do y'all do payroll? Do y'all issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there you go. So maybe now you could get a part-time bookkeeper, let them take care of your payroll, let them take care of your bookkeeping. And is there anything else you can kind of pile it on?
Oh, so you're saying like we use ADP, get rid of ADP. It's like $70 something a month. So
let them handle it. They might use ADP or they might enroll. They get probably discounts under that. So, I mean, your bookkeeper could possibly do your payroll. They could do your 1099s. They can do your W-2 stuff. And they can do, monthly cleaning of your QuickBooks account. So now that might make more sense.
Yeah, because not only, again, do you have the property management, but then you got the real estate account, and again, the trust account, and then we got the maintenance company. So it's like 4 or 5 different things, and it'd be great if I
need a bookkeeper.
Look
it up. Start out at part-time possibly, and I think because that's going to free you up and calculate it. Okay, my bookkeeper's $200, $300 a month. That's going to free me up at least 6 hours a month of time for all of that. Go sign up 2 more properties. You just covered it.
Okay. Which kind of dovetails into really my biggest question I want to throw out there today is I've been using an RTM out in the Philippines for almost a year. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I think it's not cost effective for what I get. And the reason why I think that is she's a great person and makes a couple mistakes here and there, but I get it. But it's mostly like things like renewing property management agreements, renewing lease agreements, doing the tenant screening and stuff like that. But because of the lack of being able to communicate, in other words, when I got into this, I kind of thought, well, eventually we'll figure out a way that you can have that person at least receive tenant phone calls or something like that. So there's no contact with the individual tenants or owners or anything like that in person. It's all through email and stuff like that. So I'm almost at the point where I'm like, for what I'm getting, I don't know if it's cost effective. So number 1 is your thoughts. Number 2 is, do you think that is a cost effective use of it? Or is number 3, do you have a better suggestion on how I could better utilize it?
I would lay out the amount of time. How much time is she doing for you, he or she?
So it's a she. And what I do is I pay a flat $200 a week. And in theory, it would be 40 hours. And of course, there's no 40 hours. And I'm okay with that because it's a cost benefit analysis. If I pay $200, what am I getting for $200? I don't care if it's 2 hours or 200 hours. Am I getting it? So she gets a flat $200 a week. Theoretically, it's up to 40 hours. I think probably realistically on any given week. And again, if you have a vacancy, that's probably a little more screening more applications, redoing annual leases. So they may come in bunches. That'll go 3 or 4 at a time and then none for a while. So I would say if I had to peg it, probably 10 hours a week.
It would take your time. If you took if you got rid of her and you had to take over all this stuff, it would add possibly 10 hours of work.
I could probably do it in 5. I could probably do it in 5 to 8. But again, here's the thing. I don't like it. I don't like paper, as you can see already. I don't like accounting. I don't like paperwork. I don't like renewing leases. I don't like, honestly, you see me fidgeting. I don't like sitting behind a computer screen. I want to be out talking to people, doing things. So my challenge is forcing myself to sit down, stare at a screen, enter in data, do the redundant things. And to be really honest with you, when you're not interested, when it's tough you do, that's where mistakes are made. So when you look up and you're like, oh my God, I just told that tenant water and sewer was included and we signed the lease and I missed it. Well, there's a $60 or $70 a month mistake you just made because you can't. And I've done that.
I would write out the pros and cons of both. I'm kind of thinking, listening to you, what I would possibly consider, maybe letting the person go in the Philippines, 2, 4, 6, that's $800 a month. Okay. Let that person go. Look at hiring a part-time bookkeeper, which I think you could probably get for $400 to $500 a month. Easy. That's going to free up about $400. Work on your systems and processes a little bit more for the applications and stuff you want to get rid of. And then maybe hire a local part-time person that'll just do that.
Okay.
And you're about at a wash of what you're paying. And now you've got a local person that is just working from home remotely. Because here's the deal, y'all. I'll tell all of y'all this. With the market change the way it is, you can get transaction coordinators and admin people for reasonable amounts of money now because they're agents and they don't have the deals to close. And so they'll pick up part-time work left and right.
Okay, good.
And so I would maybe look at that, get a bookkeeper in, because I'm concerned about people's trust accounts. Because, you know, if you do look at the bulletin, that's the number one area they usually get property managers is on the financial stuff. You're seeing the really bad stuff. You're not seeing the other stuff that's just warning and all. But maybe do that, free up that money, get a bookkeeper, and then see about using the rest. But if you're thinking in sales, property management, or anything of outsourcing what you do, letting someone else do it, you need to have it completely documented, crystal clear what you want that person to do. And that was something that I learned the hard way. They are not mind readers. So if you want them to approve an application, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Document that out really clear. And then that way, maybe you can have a local person, or maybe go back to the Philippines, but now you know what to look for with the phone system and everything. Have a company that includes a phone line.
Okay. That's great. Thank you. That's great advice.
Yeah. So let me know which way you go with that one. I'm curious. So look at Pam, all high tech with her green screen behind her. Look at that. Hey, Pam, how are you?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
Yeah. You've been doing a lot of video work?
I took a goal to do one a week.
One a week?
For my blog.
Send me
So
some
now
link.
if you go to the blog, it's got the video on there, and then we'll just share the video on social media and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know why I decided on one a week. That's 52 videos. Doesn't seem like a lot, but yeah.
Are you matching them together, doing them like 3 or 4 at a time?
I'm trying to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then it takes a little bit to make it look like I want it. So
I'll show you kind of what I'm doing, kind of my workflow. I found a pretty cool way of doing blogs, and I'm going to do video blogs while I'm working out on the treadmill. But go ahead, tell me what you're doing and everything. I'll show you.
So I'm actually using Big VU. I need the teleprompter. It is what it is. I kind of know what I'm saying, but I like to have the teleprompter and know what I'm going for. So it does give you the option to change the background, hence the green screen. And it kind of hides the crap in the back of my office. And so we'll do that, and we'll throw the captions on there. So I'll write the blog and then have that blog translated into more or less a video script. And then we'll record the video. We're trying to keep it under 2 minutes. I found that some of my longer ones just they're not getting as many hits as, some of the smaller ones. It was just basically just a generic summary of the blog itself. And then we'll attach that to the actual blog. So, and post the videos. So that's the goal right now.
put that in a list of kind of how you're wanting that to go. I will tell you, I got really focused about a month or so ago, and I started knocking. I think I showed y'all this before. Started knocking out blogs on my website, and my site now. I haven't looked lately. I'm going to show y'all this kind of Saunders or Winston-Salem HOA management. And let's, so this is cool. This makes me happy. Let me show y'all something. So share screen. So if you want to know how your website is ranking, open an incognito tab. Okay. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but go into your Google browser, click your dots on the right and go incognito. Why do you do this? You don't want Google to know who you are or track you, because if you've already done a search in your original web browser, they're going to know what you're looking for. So your stuff is skewed. This is clean. Like if this is a person the first time searching in this area, they don't know who is there. So I'm going to type in Winston-Salem HOA management, which is probably what a company would do if they're looking for an HOA manager. So right here, Cedar Management, Messick. Check this out, y'all. I'm up to number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my site's pretty new, and we're not doing very much on it. So right here, Saunders HOA management, we're ranking pretty quick now. Why do I think we're ranking now all of a sudden? Let's see if I'm showing up in the Google Maps at all. Probably not. Look at that. I'm ranking now in Google Maps as well. So my site's pretty new. We just started doing this. One of the reasons I think it's doing this is because of the blog. And what I'm doing is I'll do a blog post and I'll do exactly what Pam says. I'll make a video talking about it. All right. And then I'll still post all the text in here.
Well, where do you think I got the idea, Mark?
I know. So, but here, I'm going to show you how to put this on steroids. This actually works out. I mean, and I haven't even looked probably since we talked last. I'm happy to see that this has gone up to 4. I get no comments or anything, but Google loves this stuff. Post it on your website and then share it out through social media. I'm trying a new thing. I'm not doing any social media for my HOA management company. I'm doing YouTube and my blog. And so the other day, I've been trying, my goal is to walk more on the treadmill, trying to do 10,000 steps a day, and it sucks. I can't quite get there, but I'm getting better. So I got a treadmill now, and I put like a little desk you can attach to it. So I had my computer on while I'm walking, and this is what I came up with. And I've showed y'all, I think of this a couple times, but it worked out really good. So how do I come up with topics? I'm an HOA management company in Winston-Salem. I need to come up with blog topics. Right here's 15 blog topics that were really, really good. And so then I would just say, let's start with number 1. Can you write me a 15 to 2,500 word blog post? And right here's the blog post. So now I'll read this and I'll make a recording talking to my camera, talking about this, make it my own, and then just post the whole thing to my website. And so with 30 minutes on the treadmill, I've come up, I think, with 25 blog posts right here that I'm going to focus and just knock it out. Right there's my schedule. So that'll take me through the middle of next year if I do that. Does that make sense? Is that what you're doing, Pam? Yep. Stick with it. I didn't know. I've only posted like 3 or 4 posts, and I'm already up to the number 4 ranking. So that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. We won't even talk about rankings because mine's a little bit different because it'll show up is because we do a lot in Charlotte, but our business address is in Matthews. So we've had to work on the SEO for that. So if you like Google Matthews property management, you're not going to find much. If you Google Charlotte property management, you'll find a gazillion. But for the most part, yeah, that's what we're doing. So I'm using Notion to kind of keep everything in sync and doing the same thing with ChatGPT and having them convert it. And then they'll convert it into like a 2-line social media post. And
is it hurting you by not having a location in Charlotte, you think?
I don't necessarily think so. But I mean, in all honesty, there's really no need for me to have one.
Yeah.
We don't have people that pop in to pay rent. They're all paying online. So, and it could be it's a UPS store that's my physical mailing address.
That's exactly and that's what I was going to say. If you got it, so if I was wanting to get more in the Greensboro market, I would go open another UPS office or post office in Greensboro. And then when you Google it, it would look like we would have 2 locations.
Right.
Greensboro and Winston. And it would show up on Google Maps and everything that way, but it's a UPS location.
Yeah, I just hate having to go check it.
I know.
That's the only
maybe
thing
you
is I
just
hate
add
having
it,
to
but
check
your
it.
mailing address is the other one that you check all the time anyway. So
Yeah.
it's just a location.
Yeah,
I have
which is another option too, but
onto that and can kind of rank you. I don't know, but if I was going to be looking at moving to a new market, that's probably what I would do, is try to target that. But keep in mind your SEO word and the location, and keep re-saying them in your blog post and everything. Start your blog post out with it, close with it, and that's where it'll start ranking up for you.
Yeah.
And post those to your Google My Business page too.
Yep, we are.
Good. Make you a check. You got your checklist?
I got my checklist.
Awesome. You got a good teacher. I don't know who taught you all that. That's good.
I don't know, but he needs to be cloned or something.
Don't tell my wife that. She would disagree. So, Scott, how you doing, buddy? You there? I think you were popping in and out. Uh-oh. Can't hear you, Scott, if you can hear us. So, Lakeisha, I see you got another question. Yes, you may ask as many questions as you like. What do you got?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I did your Google Forms training.
Thank you. I was wondering if any of y'all are doing my classes, because I can track all of y'all. So I was
Doing good, Mark.
Go ahead, Lakeisha. What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are, Scott. Got you. We having internet problems? It looks like your mic's out. It's moving, but I can't hear you. Can y'all hear him?
Mm-mm.
No, but we got a lot of wind and the rain, and schools are closed. So
Yeah, it's just, and that's the reason why I have my
video off. Yep. All right, you keep popping in and out. Maybe if you got any questions, Jay, throw them in the chat box, and I'll try to answer them for you, Scott. But all right, Lakeisha, go ahead. You check the Google Forms training.
Yeah. So I have my questionnaire. I did the video and all of that. So, like, how did you implement that? Do you talk to, like, I'm trying to get some systems going, and so I've used it a few times. So I did get like when I say a few, I've got 2 responses.
Good.
So, like, if a lead comes in, do you like have it automatically kick out this form for them to fill out? Or like, how did you put it in?
I don't. Normally, I only send that after I've had like a phone call with them. You can set it up however you want it. You can have automatic drip campaigns. I mean, my website, I haven't changed it in a while, but if a new lead signs up, I've got it to where it's like a 2-minute delay, and then they get an email that has a link they click, and it's a video from me introducing myself. So you can do that automatically. The response on that's kind of hit or miss. What I'd rather do is actually speak to them in person. And then the line that I would tell them, and this is where it works really well, is like, okay, listen, I want to know as much about you as I can. And I've got a questionnaire that's going to ask you about the properties. And it's probably going to ask you questions you haven't thought about, but it helps me a lot as an agent because I'm detail oriented. I'm a little bit of a nerd. I want to make sure I cover all of this. That's exactly how I tell people that. And so I said, I want to shoot you an email real quick. Can I get your email? Or if you prefer, I can text you the link. And now you're getting their name, their email, and their phone number, right? And just talk to them and say, all right, I'm getting ready to send this over to you. Take a few minutes, fill it out, and let me start creating a search for you, criteria and all. And this is going to help me out a ton. And I would usually send it. Now it's like y'all know each other and everything. And you'll get a lot more responses coming back that way.
Okay.
Yeah. But find your own system. This is all about what works best for you and everything. What other systems are you working on?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Google Forms. So I'm trying to get this one, which I got this one, and then the seller side I want. But I don't know. I think I kind of want to talk to the seller. So I don't know if I'll do that. But
I think the seller side, to be honest with you, my thoughts on the flow of it, I think the seller side is actually better after you sign the listing agreement because I'm using it more for disclosure purposes, asking questions on, have you updated any, kind of like the residential property disclosure statement, but we can ask more questions. Like, who's my point of contact for showings? Just a reminder, if you have pets, make sure they're out of the house before we have a showing, stuff like that. So you can use it more as a questionnaire plus as a reminder to them that you're going through it and everything.
Gotcha.
So again, it all comes down to like your delivery, how you present it.
Got you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. What else y'all got? Any other questions? Scott, I hate you keep popping in and out.
I know it's my internet. That's the reason why I also didn't turn my camera on. It just
Okay.
And it's happened a couple of times before, so I don't know if it's the bad windstorm.
This storm,
today, but
I think we're on the edge. It's not that bad here, but I think down towards Charlotte, y'all supposed to get it pretty bad. It sounds like, but I can hear you now, Scott. Do you have anything I can help you with?
yeah. I don't think so. I did have a little injection I wanted to put in with Mike's question about the remote helper. We used to use that in our business. I worked for Home Vault Property Management for a while, and I had my own property management company for a while too. I'll never do it again, but I picked up a lot of cool little tricks. Mike, there is a company, and it's actually not very far from you. One of the chiefs, his name's Matt Tringali. He lives very close to you, I think, over there in Mint Hill. But he runs a company called Better Who, and they are consultants with the whole remote helper type thing. I forget what the acronym is. It is, but if you're having, you're not feel like you're not getting bang for your buck, I would highly talk to Matt with them there, and because they've got all kinds of tricks and things that they can use to help you with your current one or find a new one that doesn't require so many hours. You can do a shared remote manager where you're not the only person that they take on, and so there's a lot of possibilities. But if you want me to, I can turn you on to Matt and his company.
So let me just get your opinion then. So I know Matt, and yeah, he literally lives about 3 miles from my house. And I've talked to Matt, but here's what I have trouble getting my hands around. So he said it would cost like $6,000 for, I think it was a 60-day consultation. And his RTMs, he said, and again, I'm going back almost a year, but it was like $8 to $9 an hour. And I just thought, I don't know that I really see the value at $8 to $9 an hour. I'm paying $200 a week, so $5 an hour. And I hear my heart, and I'm just going to say this. So I like Matt, and $6,000 is a lot of money. And so when I said, geez, Matt, how long have you been at this? And he said, I was a property manager like 4 or 5 years. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I've been at it for 40 years. But I only say this to say that I'm not so arrogant that I'm like, I can't learn anything. I've learned more from Mark in the last year than I've learned in 40 years. But I have a hard time paying somebody $6,000 who's only been at this for 4 or 5 years. And I don't know if that's an effective use of the money.
I totally
understand.
I
kind of said, to be honest, was like, well, do you have it's hard to say. Do you have like a trial where I can say, hey, show me that I feel confident before I sign a $6,000 contract? And then to say, hey, the company I used to help me out with this remote team member, I loved because it was $5 an hour and they did all the screening. They did everything. And I paid them like $100 a year ago to do all that. So I was like, I didn't see the value, but I want the words to come out wrong. I got nothing bad to say about Matt. I know him. I've talked to him. I'm just not convinced of the value right now for what it is, if that makes sense.
It does, and it doesn't hurt my feelings whatsoever. Matt's a good resource, especially in the property management field. I like the way his brain thinks a lot of times. But you're right. He's in business to make money because he's not doing property management anymore.
Right. And that's why I said I had great conversations with him. And that's why I like this forum, because I like to bounce ideas off people. And like somebody say, Mike, you're totally wrong here, man. Let me tell you, he did A, B, C, and D. And you just got to know. That's why I really, and again, Mark, just yell your praises. I feel like I learned more off a 15-minute conversation with Mark over this. Out of this, I got a whole page of notes just on today in 1 hour, and things that I'm like, and I probably shouldn't say so, Mark, plug your ears, but I would pay Mark $6,000 tomorrow.
I'll send you an email. That's okay. I'll send you an email. The invoice will be going out later today.
Because, and here's the thing, because I see value to that, because he's shown value. He's shown to me what he can do and taking it to the next level. I've all time taking a risk on somebody that sounds great, only got a couple years experience. And that's why I feel like there's so much more to learn, because what I could bore you guys with stories of doing property management in the 80s and the early 80s and all that, because it's not even the same business. It's the same people skills, but it's not even, I think it's changed a lot in 5 years. And that's why, again, I love Mark, because Mark's got his finger on the pulse of the technology, and it sounds like he's really good at it. And there's value into that. When somebody knows what they're doing, there is a value, a dollar value to it. But it's so new. I don't know who really knows what they're talking about to drop that kind of money for, I guess, 45 or 60 days to find out.
Gotcha.
That's a waste of money.
So there's a couple things I've dropped in the chat box while you were talking.
Sure.
And all. So first is My Outdesk. That was the company that I used for a virtual assistant for my property management systems and all. And I had a virtual assistant. I think she was about 40 hours a week for about a year when we were really rocking and rolling. So they were good. You can do different levels with them. So My Outdesk. The other one I have not used, but I've heard about them. They are local virtual assistants. So meaning in the US, belaysolutions.com. And they can actually help you with the administrative tasks and bookkeeping. So maybe if you found the right person, maybe you can find somebody that can knock out both of those things in one. Maybe you pay $700-800 instead of what you're paying, but you're going to come out cheaper than hiring a separate bookkeeper and keep your person. So don't get so caught up on the monthly thing, because if you can find one that's combining, you might come out cheaper, even though you're paying a little bit more. Make sense?
And would you repeat the name of that company again?
They're in the chat box. You see the chat box?
I do.
Yeah, there's the link. Takes you directly to their site. Pam mentioned one, VPM Solutions. There you go. And Gloria asked a question. Small firm, I am the only W-2, but I have independent contractor using Paychex. Do you think ADP is better? I've heard Paychex is good. I've been very happy with OnPay, which is the link that I dropped in here, onpay.com. I was with, who was the one that I was using before? Simply Pay or something. I was with them for 2 or 3 years. They kept raising the price. OnPay's been great. I will tell you, if you run your own company, and we can talk about this next call if y'all want to, somebody make a note, but there's so many benefits of owning your own company and all, and I hope you're taking care of all of them. For example, my company, I am a salaried employee if you're able to do it, and we offer if you offer that or not, but that allows me to save for retirement. My wife is on payroll, so we're now allowed to do about $28,000 a year that's going into a retirement account that lowers our taxable income, and it's grows tax-free. So simple IRA, stuff like that, if you're paying yourself as a salaried employee, W-2 employee. So we can talk about some of those things. I have another company, this company, I've added my kids to the payroll, and they're doing some chores around the house, cleaning the office and all, but that lowered my taxable income. And I can actually set them up a Roth IRA now. Who wishes their parents, when they were 8 years old, opened up a Roth IRA with about $6,000 and did nothing else? Look at those numbers. It's mind-blowing. So some of the things that we need to kind of talk about, we're happy to. I'll tell you kind of how we have it set up. But my stuff's all separate. My wife's on payroll. We offer a simple IRA, pretty easy to set up. We contribute $13,500 last year for both of us into a retirement account. So stuff like that to kind of think about. Y'all want to talk about that? Susie says yes, please. So we can talk about that next month if you want to. Any other questions? It's always good to see you. I look forward to these calls. I hope y'all do too, and everything. So as always, if you have questions, drop them in the community. They come directly to me. I get a heart on my phone when y'all message something, so I know somebody's on there talking about me. So I'll go on there and put something in there. But if y'all have any other questions, and always, y'all keep an eye out for this. If y'all have any topics you do want me or issues you want me to know ahead of time before the call, drop them in the box, drop them in the community. I'll research them a little bit, and then we can all talk about it like this. So did we get at least one thing today? Hopefully, one nugget. Awesome. 4. Good. Awesome. Well, thanks, y'all. Have a great day. I hope 2024 is awesome for you so far. So
Thank you, Mark.
be safe in this weather.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you feel better, Susie.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.